shows how many people are watching. That shows how many people are watching. Good morning, everyone. This is David with Bolivar Live, and good morning. We're in the downtown Crystal Beach, Texas Big Store New Live studio. I'm David Harris, and I have Greg Fountain with me here. Greg, today we're breaking the bottle on champagne on the new studio. Keith let us come in and build the studio, and we're super excited about it. I think it's going to give us a great, and with your background, getting the news out to people, you know what it's like. And so thank you for joining us. Greg, we're going to talk about everything this morning, but we're going to talk about hurricane season. Greg is with the Jefferson County Office of Emergency Management, and he's going to fill us in on what to look for, what to be ready for, how to plan yourself, and what else are you going to talk about?
Several websites and you know, having a family plan in place, and especially businesses here on the Bolivar Peninsula. They've been there, done that, know what it's about, but the visitors to the peninsula are the ones that don't want to get stuck down here during a storm. You need to have a plan in place, watch out for the weather. Dave, your cams do so much for not only the citizens, but in emergency management, I used your cams to see what the tide was doing a couple of weeks ago during Jeep weekend during that high tide event.
And we're going to show you right now what he's talking about. This is the Sunrise Beach Cam, and you can see it any time on our website at BolivarPeninsulaTexas.com. We've got 9 live streaming webcams up there, and all of them run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. A lot of them have battery backups on them even. And Third Coast Internet has generators on their stuff, so you'll always be able to see what's going on down here on Bolivar, no matter what the weather's like. But first, I got to give thanks to these people that jumped on board this morning. The sponsors for the newsroom: Latitude 29 Surf Shop, Ocean Grill, Sandra Dial Keller Williams, Stingery Restaurant and Marina, Swedes Real Estate, and the Big Store. Thanks to these companies for coming on and helping us build this studio and make it what it is today. So we've got several things we're going to give away today, Greg, and we've had the Hunt for Bolivar going on, but no one's found it yet. And if you haven't, for those of you that don't know what it is, we've got a pink flamingo. Instead of a pelican, I chose a flamingo, and he's been hidden since actually last Wednesday. But we started giving clues out on Tuesday every week, and he hasn't been found yet. And I brought in a professional to help me because they were finding it too soon. So today's clue is, and I'm going to go through all the clues, but today's clue is, Secret Agent 99 was asked to talk under the cone of silence so no one would hear. That's a Keith clue. But for all the clues, starting Tuesday, the first clue was, Captain, what are we going to do? Same thing we do every day, Pinky, plan to take over the world. The second clue Wednesday was, the Audubon Society has never recorded a miniature plastic pink flamingo sighting on Bolivar Peninsula before, or have they? Thursday's clue was, I propose a toast to honor the great Donald Featherstone, rest in peace. And the Friday's clue was, if you had supper with on Jean Lafitte's pirate ship, you may have met this person. And then today's clue is, Secret Agent 99 was asked to talk under the cone of silence so no one would hear. H-E-R-E. So anyway, Greg, let's talk a little bit about what people need to plan for in case of a hurricane and what they can do before it ever gets here.
You know, growing up here on the Bolivar Peninsula down in High Island, emergency preparedness, hurricane preparedness was filling the bathtub and all the pots in the house full of water. My mom stuffing towels at the base of the door so the rain wouldn't blow in. All the people from Gilchrist and along the peninsula evacuating up to Highland, bringing their boat trailers and RVs and stuff up to around the ball field, the high school, things like that. And we've seen that preparedness has evolved, especially after Katrina, Rita, that people really, we're a complacent society. We need to be reminded to do these preparedness things. Every year, make sure your insurance is up to date. If you don't have flood insurance, to give you a number, in Jefferson County, 81,000 single-family homes are in Jefferson County. Of that, only about 22,000 flood insurance policies exist. But of that, only about 18,000 are single-family homes. So less than a quarter of the homes had flood insurance in Jefferson County, and we had about 21,000 homes flood. So if you extrapolate that out, only about a quarter that flooded had insurance.
And that was a problem in Winnie too, I know. They weren't even in the flood zone, and when Harvey hit, a lot of them that didn't have insurance flooded.
Exactly, and a lot of people, play the odds. A lot of people, if you're buying a home, even if you're paying cash, you need to have flood insurance. It's not mandatory if you pay cash for one, but for peace of mind, you don't want to lose what you've got. And if you're not in a flood zone, it's relatively inexpensive. We live in the LaBelle area off of 365, and we pay about $450 a year for flood insurance.
I'm going to hold that thought. I forgot to we're giving away a surfboard this morning, and I forgot to let everyone know we're giving away a brand new surfboard. Every holiday or special event down here, I've been giving away a surfboard, and I forgot to let you know what you have to bring up here. Now, the first person that brings this to the studio while we're broadcasting is going to win this surfboard. And I've got it over here on the wall. When you come up here, Fran's here giving out koozies, and she'll get your $2 bill. She'll give it back, but we'll get a picture afterwards. The first person that brings a $2 bill to the studio can win the surfboard. And we're going to be here till about 7:30 broadcasting, and so you've got some time. Dig in your purse, dig in your wallet. I know a guy that used to always carry a $2 bill around so that he could win stuff. But anyway, the first person that brings a $2 bill up here and gives it to Fran is going to walk home with this surfboard. So sorry about that. I meant to give that earlier, and I got sidetracked because this is all new to me, believe it or not. And anyway, get your $2 bill, come up here and see Fran, and you can win the surfboard. Okay, Greg.
Well, and to make it worse, not another scavenger hunt, here near the produce in the deli area is where the new studio is located.
Yeah.
David, you've done a great job decorating this. It's fantastic looking here. And Keith Zahar has been steadfast on the peninsula for many years, and your partnership with him is invaluable.
Well, he actually just came to me last week and said, David, what about if we build a studio in the old where the haircutting place was? I said, okay, when? He said, now? And so we came in Monday morning, and by Wednesday we had it done. I was on the internet ordering new mics and some more stuff, and so we didn't get much sleep the first 3 days, but we got it done, and hopefully, everyone enjoys it. Today's the first time, so we're sort of learning. I know I've got to change some things. We're going to get some speakers to put out in front of it, and we'll always have giveaways. And as of yesterday, we're going to do a Saturday morning show with a guest host every Saturday morning. Now, with the rain coming up, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit, I'll be out on the road a lot like I was during Harvey. And a lot of people appreciated it, but we're going to do a lot in here with businesses, individuals, just anything to get news out and let people know about Bolivar. So
exactly, this has been a hidden gem for years down here on the peninsula, and if if the people that come down here don't have everything they need, even for emergency supplies, Keith has everything here at the big store. We've relied on it for many years, people here on the peninsula and a lot of the people that have vacation or weekend spots down here.
And literally, if Keith doesn't have it, there's a good chance you really don't need it, because I've walked in here and got parts that I thought I was going to have to go to Houston for, and you ask someone in the hardware, oh yeah, we've got that, come over here, and they've got it on a shelf somewhere. So, you know, whether it's clothes, produce, meat, gift shop, RV supplies, paint, I mean, I'd said one time in the interview with him, you can literally build a house other than your lumber from the big store. And he does have some lumber back there for emergencies too, but not enough to build a house. So right now we're looking at the rollover pass cam. A lot of rumors going around. It was closed down. It's not closed down, but you do have to have a $10 beach parking sticker to fish it. Tides are up today. You can see the water running through it. And it's not closed yet, so bring your family down here. Greg, how much have you fished Rollover Pass?
You know, as a kid, we fished it quite often, or back in the days of the old croaker runs. That used to be a heck of a fishing
And fill
spot.
the cooler up.
Exactly, and it's a great place. You know, looking on the other side of it from what the county and the state's looking at, back 50, 60 years ago, that end of East Bay was 4, 5, 6 foot deep. And now it's 1.5 foot deep because of it's been silted in from the Rollover Pass. But it's one of the best fishing spots in the country. I love it. And, you know, I know people that take weeks vacations to come down when the trout are running.
And the flounder run, too. I know I've had people call me whenever I was fishing guide down here, hey, when can I plan to come down for a week and fish rollover for flounder, you know? And they'll come and camp out for a week and get their flounder, and some big flounder, too.
Exactly. We have some of the best fishing and hunting on anywhere on this part of the Texas coast, and people need to realize that you can come down here, enjoy a weekend, enjoy a week, go hunting, fishing, cheaper than just about anywhere else around. You know, there's some really good deals down here. We've got some great fishing guides.
And they can find those on our website. I've got a banner on the front page that if someone's looking for a fishing guide, they can just click on the banner and it brings them to the local fishing guides here on Bolivar.
That fish it every week, 4 or 5 days a week, most of them, and they know where to go. So it's a lot cheaper. And a brother-in-law of mine, we had this talk, and he sold his boat for the simple fact it's cheaper to hire a fishing guide here locally and go catch fish instead of having to hunt for them than it is to pay a $600 or $800 a month boat note, insurance, and everything else.
And it's not just that, it's storage, upkeep. Talking of fishing, I'm going to pull up the Stingery Bay cam so everyone can see. You know, yesterday we had a lot of popcorn showers come through, and they'd hit down in Port Bolivar one hour and the next hour, but by 10 o'clock it was gone. But I looked at the radar this morning, and we really don't have anything in the skies yet. I know, and we're going to talk about it here in a little bit, more about the rain that's coming Sunday afternoon. I think it'll be Sunday evening personally, but I'm not a weatherman. And then through Tuesday, I guess, we're supposed to get some rain.
Yeah, you know, the National Weather Service Lake Charles is another great website to go to. Also, just like, you know, keeping up with Bolivar Live and the big store and all the businesses down here on the peninsula, Facebook. Harvey was our first Facebook storm. So with that, a lot of good came out of it. We posted on there that we needed boats for rescue. We were inundated with boats. You know, I gave my office number, and it was a spectacular response locally and from across the country, people wanting to help. But on another note, the bad part of it was the rumors that get spread on Facebook. But if people will go to the tag the National Weather Service Lake Charles Facebook page, NOAA, NOAA, National Hurricane Center Facebook page, and then local meteorologists, the guys from Channel 6, Channel 12, whoever your favorite from the Houston area is. That's the ones you need to not get your information for weather from a friend that has a friend that is a part-time meteorologist on Facebook.
Yeah, and I do a lot of social media work for businesses down here, and that's how I started Bolivar Peninsula Texas.com. Was I used social media to get people interested, and then we built a site. But Facebook can help you, but it can sure hurt you too, and that's the quickest way to reach people is through social media, and especially Facebook. But rumors can spread a whole lot faster, and you have to really stay on top of everything on what's going on down there. Greg, let's talk some more about preparedness for hurricane season.
Years ago, back to that, we used to a 3-day supply. You need to have 3 days worth of water, food, medicines. But we've seen with the different storms we've had, we've had Rita, which was a windstorm, Ike was the tidal surge, and Harvey was the rain event. And in those, we've seen areas shut down for weeks at a time. So if you don't have access to your medications, and you don't have to be a 70-year-old grandfather to need medications. Most of America is on some type of medication. So during these months, get with your doctor, get with your pharmacist, and make sure that you've got a supply that'll get you into your Walgreens or King's Pharmacy or whoever can get open back up to get you what you need, because during that type of emergency, as emergency management professionals, that's something else that we don't need to worry about, is trying to find medications for somebody.
Right.
A lot of the hospitals get shut down during an event like this, like a Harvey. They had to evacuate the hospitals in Beaumont, many of them. So yeah, you need to have that. I tell everybody, and I got this from my dad, during hurricane season, never have your vehicle less than a half a tank of gas, especially if you're on the Bolivar Peninsula, because to get out of here, once these stores run out, the trucks aren't going to be coming down here to fill them up. So you need to make sure you have an ample supply of fuel.
Another thing, and I'm going to bring something up real quick, pets. Everyone knows I've got Gabby's my black lab. She's my daughter. My wife would kill me if anything happened to her. And people need to, don't leave your pets. Take them, and you saw a lot of that during Harvey.
We saw some horrible things. There were some horses in the Port Arthur, Port Acres area, and in other places that, you've driven around and seen people that would have horses tied out so they could graze in an area. Well, these horses drowned because of being tied. They got tangled in ropes and fences and things like that. You're better off cutting them free and
letting them run,
and finding your large livestock later if you can't evacuate them.
And I'm going to bring up something real quick. Tracy Barnett has a lost and found pets. Someone just brought up a $2 bill and won the surfboard. Tracy Barnett has a lost in Crystal Beach, Bolivar Peninsula, lost and found pets, and she shot me a text last night. There's been a dog loss, and it's not just any dog. This is a, let's see here, reward if found, Bowie, as in David Bowie. He is wearing a blue harness and a red collar, was lost in Emerald Beach 2 subdivision around 9 p.m. on 6/14. He's a husky mix, but he's a therapeutic dog for an autistic child.
Wow.
And so I guess were down here on vacation, and she wanted me to get word out because the mother's just distraught. I mean, she ran out of gas looking for her on the beach the other day. And so if you're on Bolivar, around the Emerald 2 subdivision or anywhere, because it's been so long, and see a husky with a blue harness on it, His name's Bowie. She said he won't bite. He's very playful. And you can get hold of me. There's a phone number of the Crystal Beach, the Lost and Found Pets of Crystal Beach, Texas. There's a phone number on the post where you can call. But let's bring this dog back to the child and the parents. And I know last year or the year before, a lot of dogs get lost down here, especially 4th of July week, because of the fireworks going off. And I actually found a lab on the Intercoastal down by Rollover Pass on a fishing trip about 4 or 5 years ago that had been lost, and he was on the bank of the Intercoastal, and my customers actually said, you know, when I told them, man, I think that's that dog that's lost, they said, to heck with the trip, let's go get the dog. Sure enough, it was the one. I called Tracy. Her husband came down to the boat ramp. The lady had already left and went back to Austin, drove from Austin down here as soon as we told her we found him and picked him up. So anyway, I want to give a shout out again to the sponsors, because everything that I do here on Bolivar Peninsula, promoting Bolivar, the tourism center, the website, can't be done without sponsorship and marketing partners. And without these people, it wouldn't happen. Once again, it's Latitude 29 Surf Shop down there across from next door to the old car wash on the east part of, or west side of Crystal Beach. They have everything down there: surfboards, home decor, clothing, shoes. I picked up a new pair of flip-flops down there yesterday. Ocean Grill, Chad and the crew up there, they've expanded this year, have a great restaurant, a great gift shop that they've put in, and really a family-run business here on Bolivar. In fact, they're right in Crystal Beach Plaza. Sandra Dial Keller Williams. Sandra's a local here, has a realty, works for Keller Williams, has an office in Crystal Beach Plaza. And I know she made a comment to me the other day, if someone's wanting to build a house, she's got a lot of property, blank property for sale. Stingery Restaurant and Marina. We've all been there. We've all had a stingerita and watched the sunset, huh, Greg?
One or two.
A great restaurant. It's been around for generations. Brad's got it now. Runs a great operation. They have live free music that's family friendly down there every Friday and Saturday night. Swedes Real Estate. Jim Walters and the crew up there do a great job. They've got a lot of rent houses, and you're fixing to go to work for them, or you're working for them already.
Exactly. After 32 years of law enforcement, and the last 11 and a half of that as emergency management coordinator for Jefferson County, I've decided to retire and obtain my real estate license, and went yesterday with Casey Bloom, showed a few houses to see how a true professional does it. Casey was gracious enough. But yeah, Jim and I, both graduates of the class of '83 of High Island.
How big was it?
We were in the top 20. There was 23 of us in the class. So I've known Jimmy since 1976, and we're in fact brother-in-laws. We married sisters. So keeping it in the family, and he and Lance Bradley were gracious enough to let me come on board. And you know, Ann Willis has done a great job with that business for many, many years, and Jimmy and Lance were fortunate enough to buy the business from Aunt Ann and carry on the tradition.
Great. Well, welcome to Bolivar. I know you've been down here your whole life anyway, but now you're working down here.
Well, talking about Stingery, I remember when it was nothing more than a bait camp. Ken and Norma Miller had it, and who moved from here in '76 and opened Pine Tree Lodge. So that's how far it goes back. Yeah. A lot of businesses, and that's the good thing about Bolivar down here. The businesses, they're all family owned. Yeah, exactly.
You know,
care about the community.
And they give back to the community. All of the businesses down here, and I harp, get on emotion every once in a while, harping about shopping local. Yeah, you can drive from here to Galveston or Beaumont and buy stuff, but why? When we have it all here. And if you go to the website, I wrote something 3 years ago about why Bolivar, and it talks about family-owned businesses, minimal electronic usage when you're down here on vacation. It's the owners that open in the morning and close after dark and stuff. And so that's all on my website and everything. You can see that. And we've got a lot more on there. Like Greg was talking about earlier, we've got 9 live streaming webcams. We've got new webcams on a new surf cam on the beachfront. We've got 3 new cams down at Fort Travis, and we're fixing to raise those up 16 foot, or one of them, and get an even better view of the lighthouse. So, well, we're coming on 25 minutes. We're going to wind it down. One other thing I want to talk about is Crystal Beach Community Church drive-ins in a drive-in. And I know drive-ins aren't even around anymore, but they've got one of these big screens they're bringing in on the 22nd. And I thought, when they told me about it, I thought, a drive-in movie screen at a church. But the movie they're showing, I've seen it 2 or 3 times already, and it's a phenomenal movie because of the story behind it. So on the 22nd, which is a Friday, starting at 8:30, they're going to put up the screen. They've got a drive-in movie theater. It's free popcorn, free Cokes, and the movie that they're showing is I Can Only Imagine, and it hadn't been out that long. And if you haven't seen it, you really need to watch it because it's got a great story behind it about a kid growing up in a rough home and made it, and how he wrote this song that's been the #1 on pop, rock, Christian, everything. I was reading some more about it this weekend. So anyway, Greg, let's wrap up and tell everyone real quick topics, what they should do right now just to get ready.
BeaultMontWeather.com to give people an idea of what they can go to. You can see everything from the local shot from the National Weather Service, the satellite imagery. You can scroll and see regional, local radars. Yeah, it's just a fantastic site.
I've got it up on the screen now, and I'm going to scroll up so that people can see while you're talking.
You know, Ira Wilsker at Lamar University put this together, and you can scroll and scroll and scroll and find out more information than you could imagine. And the screen coming up right here is what comes directly from the National Hurricane Center. Some of the other ones are naval information, regional, everything from the Texas Gulf Coast to Florida to the East Coast, it'll be covered.
And what they're showing on there now isn't even what the GIF was picking up that they were talking about all week, that we're going to have a Category 1 or 2 hit the coast and everyone went into a frenzy. It sort of fell by the wayside.
It did, and you know, and whether it's National Weather Service, Lake Charles, or the Hurricane Center, or you know, Greg Boswick from Channel 6, or any of the other local meteorologists, whoever it is, they'll tell you, weather forecast used to be a 3-day forecast, and sometimes they weren't right, and then they pushed it to a 5-day, and now if you look at any of our local TV stations, they're 7-day, and the NOAA sites are 10-day forecast, and it's just too unpredictable. If you remember with Hurricane Rita, it was predicted to go in the middle Texas coast, and it hit us. It's just the curvature, the spin of the earth puts everything. If you notice, a lot of the storms are heading towards South Texas and eventually come up to us. If the other side of the equator, because of the spin,
it
goes the opposite direction. So you just need to, if you're a business owner or on vacation, go to these type of sites every morning. You can have them on your phone. See what your local weather is going to do. You wouldn't wait on a fireman to knock on your door and tell you your house is on fire. So be responsible for yourself and your family, and just have a little knowledge.
And don't wait till the last minute. It's like when Ike was coming in. I had a friend that worked at the Weather Service, and he would give me off-the-record advice and on-the-record advice, and I was looking at the radar, you know, and he was talking to me, and he told me, David, you need to leave. And it was still going in down in Corpus or Rockport, somewhere down there. And so I left, you know, thought I went to Beaumont, was far enough away, and the next morning at 4:30 I got a phone call. Someone said, hey, you need to head easter,
Yes.
further easter. And so I went to Bow Bridge and stayed there and then came back, but, right afterwards. But we've been here 30 minutes. I know everyone's getting tired of looking at our mugs. And so let's head on out. Until next time, from the Bolivar Live News Studio in downtown Crystal Beach, Texas, in the big store, I'm David Harris with Greg Fountain. Have an awesome Father's Day weekend. Stay dry, drive safe. Come see us on Bolivar Peninsula. We'd love to show you around. God bless, and bye-bye.